Absolutely.
Like no slip-ups.
No slip. I mean, you brought it up.
I'm over 40 days.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Pleb, but you know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Alex and Bryan, and listen, Alex is in deep, let me go deep, oh, she's in deep trouble, guys. All right, cool. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the what? Whoop. Uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returning as well, you got the minerals. Just to let you guys know, I am on the road, so some of my quality might not be as great as usual. But let's talk about some real stuff, you know. Let's talk about some real stuff. Hey, don't forget as well, grab your merchandise as well. Talking about Alex and Bryan, I think I watched them in the first episode, or second episode, sorry, when I saw Alex and Bryan talking in the garden. We had a short, brief conversation where Alex was talking to Bryan about celibacy, and he was on a journey for he's been on a journey as well. He started the journey basically, and she's been on it for 2 years. And you know, I already knew as soon as she was talking and laughing and giggling and catching jokes that it was a done deal. I knew that she was gonna fall for him.
Mile vicinity of her.
You know what? You got the joke. That's what you do.
You know, I knew she was gonna keep on falling like Alicia Keys. I just knew it, okay, because of the way she was giving him the energy and the play, right? But in this particular episode, we get to see an even deeper a view into Alex and Bryan, and we get to see a little bit more deeper in terms of their relationship and how she's going to, I believe, become smitten and going to become go deep feeling for him and potentially can get hurt. So we see obviously that we've heard that Bryan was a pro athlete, so you know that alpha male-ish kind of behavior, the subtle confidence, that show of bravado. You hear him during the course of this episode where he puts on a pool party, and he feels no way about telling people, look, I'm putting on a pool party, make sure you come and do anything that put on anything that rhymes with a song, right? And does it so effortlessly, nobody complained.
Hey, look, pool party tonight. If your bathing suit, if it rhymes with song, make sure you wear it, okay?
Yeah, that is so effortlessly done with confidence. Everybody's just excited by what he said at the pool party. Again, you know, he says, oh, so we're going to do this and that. And you see him carrying Winter in. Nobody complains. Everyone's excited by him. Why? Because he's a general, alpha males are generally lovable people in terms of the way that they get people to commit to what they want them to do, right? He's just energetic. His vibes in, you know, they are general people that you want to be around them. You want to be around alpha males. And I'm going to talk about something really interesting, because the way that Jay and David and Bryan were on the table showed us different qualities of different types of men and how they can gel and bond. Okay, so here you know, Bryan's on the table talking, smiling, you know, and he's talking about the fact that, you know, it's been 40 days, he's been abstinent and a bit more, and he said obviously it's not easy not to slip up. Let me be very frank with you, yeah, being celibate, it's not easy, bro. Being celibate is not easy, bro. Let me tell you something, like, I can't talk about anything else, but I'm telling you something now. It is not easy, right? So I commend him from taking that step. I love what someone made a comment and said, listen, yeah, she appreciates that Bryan's taking a 40-day step, but listen, it's easy to talk about. I want to see some action, so continue. But yes, it's not very easy to start that journey, and so long as that journey is of a truthful nature, I've got no problem with it. And when I say truthful nature, what I mean is that some people can take celibacy just to say to you that I've started a journey. He might never be on 40 days. He might just be saying that to get into your pants. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it does take a strong man to be able to say, I'm going to be celibate. And for him to say that, you know, kind of shows again, and he explains it. And I think that's where sometimes someone might think, you know, why do you have to explain it? Like, we already know that celibacy is a great thing if you've taken it on yourself, you know, etc., etc. But he goes on saying, you know, that, you know, celibacy, it takes a strong discipline, and you know,
40 days right now. It ain't easy. So you really gotta purge yourself when you want to really walk in that, because I mean,
No, I literally did that.
You know, you need to be tough to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's never easy. Rah, 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 rah. And then he presents the opposite side, you know, because in the past, you know, I was a bit of a savage, blah, blah, blah. So what he's done is presented what I call the contrast. He's letting you know, listen, there is a dark side of me, you know. Don't play with me. There's a dark side of me, you know. That's going to get the person intrigued. But then he goes, but I have put a lid on the hide. Okay, so there's Jackal and there's Hyde. So there's the Jackal part. Is it Jackal or the Hyde? Which one's the one? Anyway, I've put a lid on the bad part of me. Okay, all right, it's there, but I've put a lid on it. You know what I mean? I'm controlled. But just to let you know, there is a darker side of me. Now, what that does is create, especially in women, is the intrigue. I wonder what is the dark side of him. You understand? I wonder what. And when I say dark side, not necessarily dark, but more of a case of the fact that, you know, there's a savage side of him. There's a mysterious side of him, yeah, which I don't know about, and that draws a lot of women in, right? Now, as you get older, I think a lot of women become more aware that a lot of men play games, so they're not really as interested. Hence, why I feel like it was Alex, who's younger, or one of the youngest in the group, being drawn in to Bryan. Right? Because obviously they've bonded on the fact that, you know, the celibacy journey, But if you see the way that Alex was watching, man, let me tell you something about Bryan. Bryan is no fool. He's no idiot. He really clocked Alex softness for him. Yeah? And I hope that he has very good intentions. I'm not sure how much he has good intentions for her, but I hope he's got good intentions for her. Because she's already smitten and fallen. Her heart has not been guarded. It's over already. Okay, the way she was rubbing her chest as he was talking, the way that she was so trained on focus on him, the way that she was so, her eyes were just lighting up as he was speaking, told me everything I need to know. Girl, you are already deep. Okay, let me go deep, 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 deep. That she's already there. You know what I'm saying? And that can leave you very vulnerable when a guy, you don't know his full intentions for you. Okay, and so even the game, the Jenga game, when he chose it said do a dare. He chose her to kiss, and you know she kissed him, and she was like a little giggly girl. Let me tell you something. Listen, all of that stuff right there, okay, is gonna open you up to can open you up to men taking advantage. That's not to say, listen, don't enjoy it. But what I'm saying is, because of the competition right now, because you're not really sure about his intentions, like, this is why conversation is really good. This is why getting to know the person is really important, because then you get to hear what they're talking about. And oftentimes men talk the truth, and they often talk the talk. They talk too much, and that causes them to explain what they actually really feel and think, right? But back to the table, it was interesting because obviously, like I said, you know, Simone looked at Bryan but wasn't really buying it, right? She looked like she was uninterested, like she was tired, bro. Like whatever he was selling, she weren't on. And the reason why is because, again, like I said, as you get older, as these women get older, they get smarter. They've seen the games. They know when they're hearing authenticity. Am I saying that Bryan is not authentic? No, but what I'm saying is that the bars that were very simple are not going to stun them. They're not going to be shaken and stirred. No. Let's keep it 100 realer. You understand? Yeah? And you know, so, you know, Simone wasn't sold that I think Simone wasn't really sold on the fact that he's still not a bad boy. So for her, she was not really interested in it. And so the comment that Alex made was that, you know, he's super fun, he's ticking all the boxes, and he's got a deep side of him. And that's
Bryan is a super deep guy, and he's fun at the same time.
If you be real disciplined and you're not trying to smash, you start realizing, all right.
And that is where the trouble comes. When you think you're seeing something that someone else didn't see. I get a different side of him. He's different with me. Same like what Adriana said about Rashid. He's different with me. Get a different side. And it's like, yeah, sis, you know what? You know what? Like, people are consistent human beings. If they're not given a deep side to anybody else but you, sometimes you have to just take a pause and ask yourself why. And it looks like no one else, like I said, no one else was buying what he's saying. But she just kept on looking deep into him. And I think for me watching them, I'm scared for her because I'm not sure how much he's into her and if he will take advantage of her her letting her walls down so easily. I said it, but when she was dealing with Sam, she was open with Sam. She was open enough to at least think that a connection could be made with Sam. That told me that, listen, okay, not that she hasn't got standards, but rather that she's open to a lot of connections, which great, but it can leave you again exposed because you are willing to take in anything, good, bad, ugly, pretty, and when you don't exercise what you actually want, what you actually need, and you exercise and I'm open to all possibilities, sometimes actually can open you up to a lot more problems, because what you're saying is I'm open to everything and anything that comes my way. And actually, you do need to guard yourself. You've learned experiences for a reason. You guard yourself, but don't have to put necessarily a huge wall up. You just have to be smart about it and say, okay, look, what you're telling me, I like what I'm hearing, but I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to err on the side of cautious because I don't want to, especially as she's gotten through a very tumultuous relationship in the past, you want to see that she's a bit more wiser before kind of letting her guard down all the way. But again, we're not there the whole entire process, so we don't get to see the other conversations that they have. It's just that I see that she's like the little schoolgirl almost that is falling for the schoolgirl who's falling for the popular kid in school, the college letterman, the basketball player, the baseball, the football, American footballer in the school. Like, you falling for the head honcho, and that's what it looks like that she's so smitten over. What was interesting is the fact that, with Bryan, Jay, and David on table, they don't clash, and the reason why they don't clash is because they have a different viewpoint and perception. Jay is the intelligent brother. Okay, if they were friends, it would be like Bryan is the alpha male, but Bryan's the head pro athlete who everybody loves. He's got the star quality. Da 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 da. Jay is like the really intelligent guy. He's not just good at the sports, but he's good also with his head. He's smart. He's intelligent. He may not get all the plaudits now, but in a few years' time later on, he'll get all the plaudits he needs. And then you got the David, the funny guy, the one that doesn't seem. I don't want to be rude. So it's like almost doesn't seem as intelligent, but is needed in the group because he causes the laughs, he causes the fun, he causes the trouble, he causes the mayhem that gets everybody to have a good time. You know what I mean? And that's what I was seeing on the table. So you can see when guys get together, they try to complement one another. We're not trying to be in the same competition field. So you'll see that they'll go for different types of gal. And so that's why we never really clash, because certain men will go for different types of girl. Jay's going for what? A joy ting, yeah? A joy ting is not really for Bryan. Bryan will go for an Alex thing, but that's not Jay's kind of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Although Jay went after, we're seeing Jay looks like in the cutscenes that he's going for Winter's bedroom, but hey ho. Oftentimes the intelligent ones are the dark knights of the group. So let me not say nothing too tough, you feel me? But you can see that blend and how they operate in a group. And so, even though they may be in a group, they have different qualities that they bring to the table and how they operate as well. So what was interesting is the fact that Jay didn't laugh at David's joke, and that probably wasn't that funny, but he laughs at Bryan. And, it's interesting.
Like no slip ups.
No. I mean, you brought it up.
I don't not to say that Jay doesn't like David. Rather, I think Jay gets on with David. Jay gets on with Bryan better, and it's almost like the alpha male that meets the sigma male. When alphas and sigmas get on, and the reason why is because the alpha respects the sigma because the sigma does his own thing. Yeah, and the sigma is able to hold conversation with the alpha without there being competition because he does his own thing. So that's why alphas get along with betas and alphas get along with betas and sigmas, but sigmas really well because they are their match without competing. And so when you see Jay and Bryan, they are a match without competing. We're on the same table without competing. I don't need to compete with you, but you're still my equal. Right, and so I want to just put that in there as well, guys. So, guys, that's a little run of it. Alex, please guard your heart, okay? Because we don't want to see anything bad happen to you, falling for a guy like Bryan without knowing his full intentions. He's a smooth operator. I ain't gonna lie to you. He is a smooth operator. That's why. And even later on in the lounge, she was saying, obviously, she got a liking for Bryan. He's kicking it. And I'm like, sis, I hear you still. I just hope he's a good guy, ain't me? All right, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the upload. Yes. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded.